That kind of makes me emotional thinking about that because like reality Propense wouldn't happen without our clients. I think we have 9 clients in the top 50 firms and we just started a year ago. We have 4 clients that do over almost $2 billion worth of revenue. And we are just got started. Like I said, our birthday for Propense was January 5th, 2023. So quite frankly, we built it with these clients. When I initially had this idea, I reached out to some of my friends, leaders within the space, the chief growth officers at these firms, and explained this idea. And I was like, I think this is a good idea. What do you think? They were like, it's a great idea. We'll give you the data. We'll give you the time. We'll build this with you so you can really knock this out of the park. So that really has happened. And that trust, I'm very humbled by that trust, that putting that faith in us, knowing how big of a problem it is and knowing how building any type of technology supporting those level of clients, how tough that is, but it would not have happened without these clients really going to bat for us and giving us the time and being honest with us.
Hey, Tim, thank you for being here and for having Operator Collective on this journey with you.
Hey, Ellie, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to share our journey so far.
Awesome. So to start, maybe just tell us in your own words what Propense does and who it's for.
Yeah, absolutely. So Propense is a predictive intelligence platform, an AI-driven platform that helps professional services serve their clients better. And what we really do is a couple different things. We predict based on previous history, purchase history, what clients for professional services what they should be buying or serving using next. And we do a couple of different things. We use basically looking at analytics on purchase history patterns and kind of market trends to understand what should be sold next. And it's built particularly for professional services, not just management teams, but individual professionals as they try to grow their book of business.
So professional services firms are notoriously some of the hardest to sell into because they're so unique and have very particular buying characteristics. So maybe tell us a little bit about your journey and the spark to start Propense.
Yeah, that's so true, right? In so many different levels. And I think like great ideas or great art comes from pain. So the spark for Propense actually came from me working at a professional services firm. So I worked in tech for a long time, selling the tech, and I got a job. Actually wanted to move to Miami, and I joined a professional services firm trying to onboard new technology. And I found out the hard way, professional services are totally different than normal businesses. And that pain and that experience sparked the original idea of Propense. Beyond that, I also learned how great the industry really is. Like they are really community drivers for each different sections of America, right? They're the backbone of the economy. And what's interesting about professional services, what I didn't know before I joined, was they are so diversified in what they do for their clients, right? It's not just one particular thing. So with all those different data points, I think they're the famous Steve Jobs quote, so you can't connect the dots going forward, you always connect them backwards. And that's really what sparked Propense. 1, the pain of this issue that professional services have. They need to serve their clients better. 2, understanding the actual individual user. And 3, understanding it's a misunderstood market. And quite frankly, I like challenges and I was in a good position to do it. So that's really what sparked Propense.
And when you talk about that initial problem that you were facing, what is it in particular about these customers that they're really struggling to use sort of the typical go-to-market tools like a Salesforce, a Marketo, all of these other tools that other industries have to really go out and find more clients, sell more services? What is it about the accounting firms in particular, since that's your focus now, that doesn't fit well with that stack?
Yeah, that's a question that I'm really solving right now. And to understand it, I guess it's broken down in 2 different arenas. 1, the way that these firms are structured, right? I think most organizations are structured from the C-level down, right? Where you have a C-suite, you have a sales team, you have all these different executives that are controlling the direction of the company. Like, I want to grow more, so let's spend more money. And this is the way, or this is the highway, right? What I learned about professional services is it's not built that way. It's more of a holding company. Each individual person at the company owns a piece of the business. Like these partners are owned a piece of the business. So normal infrastructure changes like that don't happen in professional services because it's really just an individualistic business. So that makes it very unique and challenging in that way when you're trying to adopt new technologies like a Salesforce or a Marketo, all these different enterprise technologies that are built for the C-suite. Professional services, you have to build a platform that addresses the individualistic needs, but also the management team agrees with it as well. So that's the functional problem, why technologies and the traditional technologies haven't worked. The second problem is it's a seller-doer model as well, right? So in most tech organizations, where I'm particularly from, where you have a sales team and they sell, right? That's really their job, right? The development teams build and the sales teams sell, right? Professional services, it's you do the work and you sell, right? And they don't really see it as sales. They see it as more client service. So they're not natural salespeople. So
they're the partners to their clients.
Exactly. I always compare it to a doctor relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like you go to the doctor, you get checked up and everything like that. And then you're always going to the doctor because they're somewhere like somebody that you trust, right? And that's the same way professional services serve these businesses, right? That's where they get their work, right? They build these relationships over time, and it's very reactive to what their needs are versus proactive. But due to the change to the markets, that dynamic is changing. So they need a tool like this to change, to shift with the upcoming times.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about that. What is the why now for these accounting firms? Because it's been this way for a long time. So how is the industry shifting to where the need is really critical at the moment?
Yeah. And that's really what gave me the driving push to actually jump in and do this. I had this idea for years and years, but during COVID, particularly in accounting, which is our first industry we're going after first, there were more mergers and acquisitions in that market than there ever been in the last 100 years. I think there was 50 mergers in the last 2 years, right? Accounting firms merging with other firms, acquiring. And I'm wondering why, right? Because times are better than ever, right? Like during COVID, there's more money in the market, right? But what they found out when I asked a lot of my mentors in the space and industry leaders and some of my clients was because of the margins and because of kind of the way things are growing and the labor shortage, they realize in order to grow, they have to acquire and they have to diversify selling into their existing client base because they're not going to hit the numbers they were hitting before because it's so much tighter. Growth is so much tighter right now. So consolidation is happening across the entire professional services space. And it's only going to get more and more. And the firms that are more fit and focused and serving their clients better are the firms that are going to win. They're going to be the ones that take over the entire market, right? And that's one issue that's basically causing the shift. The second is the labor shortage, right? The big labor shortage is going to affect professional services more than anything else. So they have to do less with more, right? So they have to find the right focus points to find the right clients and get rid of everyone else because they're going to have less work. So they have to have focus work with the highest margins, which is more consulting, work versus the traditional bread and butter service lines that they did before.
Yeah, I imagine automation and everything happening with artificial intelligence more broadly has a big impact on how these companies are thinking about the next decade, the next 2 decades, as their model, to your point before, actually started in this industry as a staff on the assurance team at Ernst & Young. And it's built in a way where you've got a lot of staff working on a lot of repetitive tasks, and that the entire nature of that is going to shift and put a lot of pressure on margins moving forward.
Absolutely. And they all see it. It's weird because I view Propense as a change behavior platform that entices people based on database decision using AI, predictive intelligence, to make that change. So it's a tool.
Yeah.
They know they've been doing this for years and years. They know they had to do this. So this is not rocket science. I need to cross-sell my clients better because it retains us, we make more money, and the clients are more happy because of the things there. But because of AI, because it's picking up and it's so hot right now, we're using what's happening in the market, right? And using the cutting edge technology within the market, but also placing on this need that existed forever. And also because of the macroeconomic factors that we just went through, that's the perfect storm, right? I think particularly in professional services, we needed to have all three to happen for us, right? And that kind of speaks to our attraction, what we're working on right now, because all three are things that are happening. AI is every day you log in, there's something going on with AI. Number two, the consolidation is happening every day. And then the third factor as well. And that's really the perfect storm for us. And we're trying to take advantage of that this time.
So let's talk more about that. Obviously, you've gotten a ton of traction already. The logos and customers speak for themselves in this industry. So talk a little bit more about the traction that you've had to date and what you're excited about.
Yeah, that kind of makes me emotional thinking about that, because like reality events wouldn't happen without our clients. I think we have 9 clients in the top 50 firms, and we just started a year ago. We have
It's amazing.
4 clients that do over almost $2 billion worth of revenue. And we are just got started. Like I said, our birthday for Propense was January 5th, 2023. So quite frankly, we built it with these clients. When I initially had this idea, I reached out to some of my friends, leaders within the space, the chief growth officers at these firms, and explained this idea. And I was like, I think this is a good idea. What do you think? They were like, it's a great idea. We'll give you the data. We'll give you the time. We'll build this with you so you can really knock this out of the park. So that really has happened. And that trust, I'm very humbled by that trust, that putting that faith in us, knowing how big of a problem it is, and knowing how building any type of technology, supporting those level of clients, how tough that is. But it would not have happened without these clients really going to bat for us and giving us the time and being honest with us. I think that's one thing I appreciate about Operator Collective as well, is I love people that basically tell me the truth and give my medicine straight. That's what my mom says all the time. That's how I grew up. These clients do the same thing, because this industry is cutthroat and we have to build something great to be really successful. And that's our mission to do.
Totally. Maybe in spite of having all of this traction and only being a little over a year old, funding environment isn't exactly easy right now. So can you share a little bit more about your journey, but also in particular, what drew you to Operator Collective? How we got to be working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fundraising was not easy, right? It was not easy. And that was most of my last year building and working with these clients. I actually counted how many rejections I got throughout the process. But reality of, because of clients I had and the need and kind of how passionate we were about it, we just kept on through. And we're so excited to be working with Operator Collective. And we got introduced by an angel investor, Operator originally. And what drew us to it was honestly what I said before. It was the honesty. It was like when we went in the room, I love the fact that it was straight to the point. Tell me what, this is the issues. Tell me how you're going to do this. And they didn't. And Haley and Molly, you both didn't say, okay, give me the answer. I'm going to introduce somebody else and let's get their perspective. I just love the fact that it was very solution oriented, right? Very solution oriented and honest, right? And I felt like that was something that I needed. Right. I know this is going to be a difficult road, right? We're just beginning. We're obviously doing well for where we are, but this is just the beginning, right? I really want Propense to be as big as possible, be the best professional service platform out there, right? And you need to have those hard conversations with people that are very connected and have a different perspective and can lead you in the right way to have as many data points as possible, because this isn't an easy journey. It's a high, but it's something that that's one thing that when I meet somebody for the first time, and it's true in Operator Collective experience, is them being honest and being straight to the point and to be helpful. Because I feel like for me, I think that only makes us better. And that's what I really loved about our relationship and what drew us to Operator Collective.
That's awesome. And that's one of the key things that we look for too, is we want this to be an ongoing partnership where we can have those honest conversations all the way throughout this journey. And so we're not looking for people that have the answers to all of our questions necessarily, right? We're looking for what's the dynamic? How can we continue to work through some of these things together? And nobody knows all of the answers at this early stage, but can we see this partnership continuing to build, and will we really enjoy working together along the way? So really excited to be on this journey with you. So what's next for Propense?
We're super excited. So we're announcing our fundraise, and like right now we're gearing up to take our next wave of clients in the accounting space. So we're still invite only, but we're going after the next phase of our clients as we're building up events and getting the next phase of it. At the same time, we're starting to evaluate new markets, right? To evaluate and understand as we go after the next phase of professional services, which will be legal and other different sectors as we look through it. But right now, we're also pulling out a couple different new models and integration points to integrate Propense within the ecosystem of where these technologies already live. Because for us, we understand professional services, changing behavior is the hardest thing. So we want to live where they work. So integrating with CRM, Outlook, all the different things to bring those insights there. and also understanding our models, getting better with our models and getting better with our technology. So there's a lot on the plate for 2024. We're super excited. We're super excited to officially launch and go to market and make these professionals' lives easier and better by serving our clients.
Yeah.
Really excited. I think this year is going to be a lot of fun for us to understand and get better and grow together as we continue to build this platform.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim, for spending the time with us and looking forward to what's ahead in 2024.